since I found out I could talk to my grandpa in the afterlife through a psychic medium, I realized he has so many nuggets of wisdom to share with me, which I hope to share with you guys. So if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe down below. If you have any questions for Grandpa Luan, comment below and they might be featured in our next video. So thanks again for watching, and I hope you enjoy.
Hello. Hi.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. So my shower thoughts today are about life and humanity and the state of where we are right now.
Ooh.
So I hope my grandpa has some good things to say or show us that we're not all like doomed.
Oh,
No. So yeah, I want to first start off with I know right now Trump is he's president, and I just want to know what the purpose of him being president now is.
Your grandpa's not a fan. Okay. There's an old energy that has been part of the previous era of human consciousness. In this old energy is included racism, sexism, abuse, power, abuse of power, all the types of abuses, and intolerance, amongst some other things. And yeah, so basically we needed someone to represent, he's kind of the archetype of all those things, you could say. And we needed him to come in and to be that archetype so that we could all see with open eyes, for once, what's actually been going on, despite our illusion of the progress we've made, which we have made a lot of progress, but there was a lot of stuff going on that we still were ignoring or just kept hidden because it was too hard to admit that we hadn't achieved, surpassed that mentality. So unfortunately, he's, you could say, dredging the swamp, as he likes to say, or dredging the swamp. But what he probably doesn't realize about that phrase is that he's really dredging the swamp that he represents. Like he is, oh my gosh. Okay, your grandfather just showed me like a pimple. Okay, and it's like this irritated kind of spot before it's a pimple. It's just this annoying, like, oh, it's kind of sore, And then you're like, I just want it to be gone. And then over the course of days, it kind of just evolves into like a white head, and then you pop it and it goes away. So he's like the white head on the pimple. Like he's like, it's been there, it was undercover for a while, and then it just grew into this head, and now we cannot not see it. And the implications of his archetypal representation has illuminated the world as to what's going on. The world is looking at us and going, oh, God, I can't believe that's their president. Because guess what? Nobody's perfect. All nations have been experiencing variations of this in different degrees. And I hate to say this, but your grandfather's showing that because of Trump, we'll be able to purge, exercise, if you will, those old energies and come into a new era nicely. But it's going to be painful. It's going to be annoying. It's going to be unpleasant, and we're not going to enjoy it. But the good stuff will come. The pimple will heal, and we'll be good.
I love how he used the pimple imagery. It's great. No, I can relate to it. I get it. Okay. So is it kind of like similar to, I'm not saying it's the same as Holocaust, but again, something needs to be on a big scale in order to bring it to light to the world in order to make a change. It seems like, I feel like there's like a recurring theme with the previous episodes for any guys listening in. There's a pattern. Like it needs to be such a big impact in order for pretty much, I guess another way of saying is like shit needs to happen in order for change to occur.
He needs we need those assholes. It's a tough job coming down to be an asshole like that, It's a tough job coming into that type of energy. So I know this is hard for some people watching, but let's be thankful that Donald Trump's soul decided to sign up for that really unenviable task of coming in and like being this biggest douche of all time. No, not of all time. There's been plenty, but if this time, you know, we're in our country, like we haven't seen a doozy like him in a while publicly.
Yeah.
And so, you know, he is going to help us get to the next level of understanding by exposing what has been hidden. So, thanks, guy. Yes.
Grandpa, are you able to see who the next presidential winner might be, or is it doesn't work that way?
He does. He does see it. He's showing me it's going to be there's a strong propensity to be a woman, and not only a woman but possibly a minority woman, woman of minority, potentially. So there's some potentials there. We have free will, so you know. But one of the potentials is a woman who's a minority, and it's showing chills. It's showing me that energy would be, if she's elected. Don't know who it is yet, but it would be very healing. So it would be like the salve on the pimple on the wound that Donald Trump has created. She would be like the salve to kind of heal.
That nice cream medication.
Yeah, that very soothing cream coming in and soothing.
Wow.
So potential. That's a strong potential. So I'm excited to see who that could be.
I'm excited too, because I don't like the listeners. I don't think we saw it coming. But okay, we'll see how it goes.
There's other potentials, but she's showing her energy as being a strong potential.
Awesome. All right, I'm gonna ask some questions about purpose of life. Oh, actually, one popped in my head first though. But for people that might be listening in or just stumbled upon this YouTube video, that are maybe like they're maybe atheists or they don't believe in anything. Oh, someone's calling me. Do you see it interrupt?
Yeah, like pause. It looks like you're paused.
Okay. Sorry. I'm sorry, guys, about this. I'm gonna send her to voicemail. So yeah. So do you have any messages for them, or is it just more like they're on their own journey? Let them be. You know, because sometimes like for this, I'm like, there's like, you know how we discovered this whole afterlife and stuff, and I'm like, I just want to tell people, be like, look, there is an afterlife. You know, but
sorry. I momentarily, since we paused for a second, I momentarily forgot what it was.
No, it's okay.
We're atheists.
Yes, and like people that don't believe in like our bodies, they just die and that's it. Like nothing happens.
You know, this is gonna sound crazy, but did you know that atheism is just a response to fear of religion? It's a religious response. It's actually a religion. Like atheism is a religion, okay? And how do I put this in the words? Because what I'm being shown is, it's so interesting. Okay, so the atheists are running away from religion because something inside of them knows that that's not the truth. Like the ultimate truth. It bothers them, but they don't have the framework, maybe their cultural reference, the way they grew up, they don't have a point of reference to comfortably guide them down a simple path of understanding that they are all and all is them because of the way source works. So instead, they shut down and run away.
Okay.
And it's a direct response to not vibrating with like religion energy, but they end up creating their own religion because they've shut down their intuitiveness. They've shut down they're shutting down those centers of spirituality in them that exist because they're so afraid. Because part of them, I'm sorry, this is so hard to explain. Because what I'm being shown is that, I'm going to give you an example. You know what? I'm just going to give you an example of what I'm being shown. Imagine there's a guy, and this isn't always the case, but imagine there's a guy who grew up and his parents are like super Catholic, okay? And then along his life, like he just never felt like he quite fit in. And he thought used to think that he was going to go to hell, right? He used to think that he was going to go to hell because, you know, when he was a Catholic, you know, they scared the crap out of him but indoctrinated him like that. And then as he grows up and starts to become a man, he starts to, like, that fear gets so overwhelming that he doesn't choose to look for another religion or another form of spirituality. Instead, the fear of going to hell scares him so much that he just decides that there's nothing, because that's better than the idea of going to hell. So then he, like, brainwashes himself, just like he was brainwashed by other people before. He brainwashes himself to believe that there's nothing, like just blackness and darkness, and you're done, and there's no consciousness past this form. So it's like a direct fear response to, like, religions, basically.
Got it. Okay.
Not always, but a lot of times it is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to break that down. I've met a lot of atheists, and while they're a lot of times extremely just intellectual people, very intelligent, and they're afraid of being vulnerable. So that fear of vulnerability turns into this intense, like, almost like it could be perceived as an arrogance. I just know this is what it is, and blah blah blah, you know.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I don't know if I could come for them personally, but that's the process. So you're just creating a type of religion for yourself. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Okay, on to life and humanity stuff. What is the purpose of life? I feel like we kind of breezed over it in other episodes, but we didn't exactly answer it ish.
You ready for another just short and sweet Luan answer?
All right, what does Grandpa Luan say?
To learn.
Okay, makes sense.
To learn and to love. And to love, be learned. What? And to learn to be loved. Thanks.
What is humans' biggest fault, and what is our greatest strength?
Our greatest fault and our greatest strength is humanity.
Yeah.
Our greatest. This is hard. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about the context of not like who we were designed to be, but I'm gonna talk about how we evolved, because humans are far more powerful than we could even fathom, and magical than we could even fathom. But the way we've evolved from our original form and consciousness is the biggest fault would be how do I say this? Our propensity to look for things outside of ourselves for validation and comfort. Because that leads to idolization, separation from your own power, your own self, your own empowerment, victimization. It just leads to all those things.
Okay.
It undermines that. And then our greatest strength is the ability to, it's beautiful. It's like the hope energy. The hope energy is to create hope in one another and to lift each other up with hope and love. Like that's our strength. Because that trickle down effect of all these beautiful things. So, does that make sense?
Yep. Is the state of humanity and the world currently right now, is it bad? Is it good? Or is it how it should be at right now?
It's how it should be. It's a variation of many potentials that and that are okay, that are where it should be.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the purpose of psychic mediums? So like people like you who have the ability to communicate with the people in the afterlife. Like, why have you guys been chosen to have the gift to be able to talk to the dead compared to, or like stronger gifts compared to other people that can't communicate as much to the afterlife?
So such an interesting question, because it's changed over the centuries that humanity has experienced. It's changed over the different eras of humanity. So mediums, the baseline of why mediums are there is in the ancient history that we know, because there was a time where everybody was like that. That's just our natural state, is to be psychic, medium, telepathic, telekinetic. That's just how we are built, okay? And we've learned the false information that only special people have that. Now, I had a contract to come down and to be an open channel for certain types of information. And my personal sole reason for that is to teach and to show others that they have that gift and power. Okay. Over the years, people came in through many centuries, different eras, as these types of oracles or whatever. But there's always one little issue there, is that people looked at them as some sort of like special, like, oh, I'm going to go to the mount to talk to the oracle. Will I win this battle? You know, like there's always some elevation to it. But and see, that's where humanity kind of went astray and forgot that they're all like that. However, certain energies have maintained this kind of vibration when they came in, to be open to that. So a lot of star seeds are coming in with advanced consciousness, and they come in and it activate what's in the human body. Sorry, they were laughing out there. They just activate what's innate within us. So the starseed energy, the higher vibration, comes in and just activates those centers in the body that are already there, that everyone has. So the purpose of mediums now has kind of changed, and it's mostly to teach and to grow the consciousness. Now, some mediums get a little lost along the way, and ego gets involved, and they want to like do the tour circuit, you know, and have their face on a book where they're like posing like this, you know, like anyway. And that was set to do a certain thing for a certain time, but now the mediums coming in now are different. Psychic mediums now are more of like channeling information that'll help to raise the consciousness of society, of humanity, and to help empower others to understand that within themselves. So my hope one day is that I get to trigger people to realize that they can do this too, and that it's in there, so they're ready to go. So, yeah.
Okay.
For the years, yeah.
Why is the afterlife so important to know about?
The biggest aspect your grandpa showed me of the afterlife that's important is so we don't do all these reactionary things during life to counteract our fear of the afterlife. Like, imagine if everybody was comfortable with the idea that we just like merge back up with the source energy and create paradises for us. Like, imagine if that was like that everyone understood that as a fact. Like, would people like be so like would people try to control others through religion and fear, and right, and like would people be taking over other countries and slaughtering people because they're not the same religion as them? Like, imagine what would happen if everyone just accepted we're infinite.
Okay, so the next questions I have were kind of miscellaneous, so I didn't know what category to put them in. So this one, there's some, I guess, like some saints or some people out there where their body is in a glass, you know, you see it laying down, it's like perfectly preserved.
Mm-hmm.
Why them, and why is that the case?
Okay.
Why are they so special?
Oh man. Some people don't want to hear this, but your grandfather's showing me that, again, with his like philosophical like language, people see the things they want to see to create validation for themselves. Okay, so what he's showing me is that someone wants someone to be something so badly. There's a few things that can happen to create these like undecomposed bodies, right? There's a few things that can happen. One is that there's a collective intense desire for that to be the case, that they manifest that, where they can slow down decomposition with their energy. People's energies towards that saint, people that want people to be a saint, can actually slow down and reverse the decaying process. And that's how powerful our energy is, right?
Wow.
And will it to be, just like people can get rid of cancer like that sometimes. If they just like will it to be. Some people can do that. Anyone's capable. The other thing is that he's showing me people sneaking in and like putting treatments on the body to prevent the like embalming techniques to prevent the decay. So it's so funny knowing your grandfather was so religious in life, because he's showing me just like all these little dirty tricks that like, especially with like and I'm not saying this at all to cause any kind of resentment towards Christianity, because I grew up Christian. I don't associate that anymore, but I do understand that they wanted to maintain control and to create a certain image. So they imagine like a dirty cop. You know what I mean? Like the dirty cop is like rigging the crime scene and like positioning and framing things so that he can get his desired result. Imagine like a dirty cop, you know, kind of putting things a certain way, kind of, you know, manipulating a little here and there so that they can control people more.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Because he's saying like saints are not, like their bodies are going to decompose like anybody else's. It's a body. It's just a body.
Okay. And then are some people naturally hardwired to like younger energy, like kids versus teenager energy versus adults, you know, like kind of like some people like me, I don't want kids, you know, and you know, are we naturally hardwired, or is it more like, oops, my alarm went off, just like environmental influence, or do their souls, when they fly back down to Earth and they're just like, all right, I'm going on Earth to complete this mission, and one of them is not to be around kids or to have kids or any of that sort. Work with adults.
Yeah, it's a vibrational alignment, and someone may not want kids their whole life and their vibration changes for some reason, then they are aligned with that vibration. However, you know, certain people come in, they just know they don't want kids. That's not part of, they kind of just almost like they intuitively kind of know that part of their contract, right? And then some people think they're not supposed to have kids, and then they end up having kids and it changes their whole life, right? So that was actually in their contract, but they were just resistant to it. But the thing with that energy is I was actually being shown how far we've come, especially in America, go like as far as like claiming our independence and our right to have or not have kids. And it's going back and showing me how many people would have actually not wanted kids, but they thought they had to, so they did. And you know, it was like a burden instead of like a blessing for them. And that was a lot of people back then through the generations who felt they had no choice in order to blend in. They had to. But those people were now here now. They're like, no.
Hell no.
Hell no.
Okay, and then the last question to wrap up the session is just any message, Grandpa, do you have any message for people on Earth and anyone watching this? Getting into this.
Oh, he's such a sweet energy. Trying to put this into words, what he's showing me. It is basically the idea of okay, how do I put this into words? He's showing me that people label things. We label things and experiences and ourselves. And one of the big things that he learned when he crossed over and he got into his afterlife studies or whatever is that the labeling we do is an energy. The labels have an energy. And we craft ourselves with these labels, and a lot of times they don't suit us. Or they can create these responses that have a trickle-down effect that are not always great for us. And the thing is, he wishes that for people to realize that if they just remove the labels and focus on the feeling of being an infinite being, the feeling. You don't even have to, but if it helps to say it, it is kind of like a label, but it's the truth, is that we're all infinite, inalienable beings on our soul level. And he wishes that people wouldn't torture themselves with labels, torture themselves. And he wishes that if we focus on that energy and that oneness, and you try to make it like a meditation every day or a mantra even, that over time you will adjust, your consciousness will start to adjust to accept that as like a regular normal part of your reality, and then other things will improve for you. So he's showing that like that one concentration on the feeling of oneness, and he's even showing me you can like focus on your heart, and he's showing me you could put your hands like this over your heart, you know, just place them over your heart and imagine like this white glowing ball of energy just like radiating out of it, and just feel it warm your hands, feel it like fill up your body and warm the core, and to radiate out. And it's kind of similar to a white light meditation, but in this context, it would be like just being in touch with that oneness of your soul, and then feel God in that space. And remember, every time you're alone, you're feeling down, you're feeling victimized, you're downtrodden, put your hands over your heart and just feel that God energy in you right there. So that's what he showed me.
Awesome. Oh, thank you so much for another lovely session. Thank you, Grandpa. Thank you, Miss Maria.
Happy to do it. And he loves it.
Okay. Thanks.